Welcome to Brakedown, where in only a few minutes, I'll teach you all the tips and tricks you need to know to win in Marvel Rivals, no time wasted. I'm Brake, and today we're talking Groot. Groot is a vanguard with the ability to build walls that can be used to buff himself, damage enemies, and control space. Without further ado, let's Groot right into it. Starting off with Groot's primary fire, we have Vine Strike. It deals 70 damage per hit and can reach 20 meters. Yes, 20. It's insane. The value in this ability is that with the high range, this allows Groot to control space in a way that other Vanguard cannot. Also, if you see a DPS overextending, don't be afraid to take some shots at them because if you land one, it stings. Now, Groot's secondary fire is Spore Bomb. You can use this to peel for your own backline quickly since you can aim generally at them and still effectively help them out without giving too much time or space. There's also a nice combo where you can place your wall, throw your bomb, and use your primary to chunk targets. You can toss it at the enemy backline if they're playing greedy or as a means to help your flankers get a quick elimination as well. I'm going to skip ahead and mention Groot's passive now since it ties into his next two abilities. His passive is Flora, Colossus. This basically provides an extra buff to both of his walls. You can see this faint green ring around Groot. That's the range to awaken your walls and activate the passive. As for those buffs, let's start with his shift. You can have up to 3 of these out at a time, and this is the main way that Groot holds space and generates pressure. They only have 250 HP, so they're not super tanky, but they also deal damage to enemies attacked by Groot or his team at 60 damage every half second. Able to provide access to high grounds or wall-off chokes, these walls can be very scary. Now, Groot's E, Ironwood Wall, is a wider and tankier version of his shift with 700 HP. Additionally, damage dealt by allies while near the wall gives Groot up to 250 bonus health. I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent here, so if you want to skip this, here's the timestamp. Okay, let's talk about using these walls. When your tanks walk towards an objective, they're taking what is called space. Now, on defense, you want to prevent the enemies from taking space as much as possible and vice versa on attack. Maps have a variety of choke points, high grounds, flank routes, and so on that make space easier or harder to take and hold depending on where you are on the map. Destructible environments obviously further add nuance to this as they open alternative paths that can be taken. Oftentimes, you'll want to play corners or stay on the objective to prevent attackers from pushing into your space. Now, when you have a vanguard like Groot who can build terrain and have 4 walls up at once, you have the ability to impact the natural flow of maps, making it easier for you to take or hold space and harder for your enemies. So yes, you can do the build-a-box traps that you see clips of if you want to get weird, or you can shape the map around you so your team can dominate map control. In short, what I mean by this is when you have a vanguard contesting an objective, you can just drop a wall behind them. Naturally, they likely won't notice or care until they try to back up when they're taking damage, but the wall will be there to inhibit this. This can lead to either kills or to the enemy panicking, which makes space. You don't always have to get a team wipe or even an elimination to win a fight. If a strategist wastes an ultimate to save their vanguard and all you did was wall, that's a hugely won engagement. That said, you do need to wait until your target walks through the choke. There is the occasional value where you can deny teams from touching before you cap, but generally it's not worth it to stall a fight in this manner otherwise. I also want to add the way I use these walls is not the absolute truth, but it's how I play Groot and have found success with him in GM Plus lobbies. Next, Groot's V, Furious Flora, is a 3-hit combo and there's nothing really special about the first 2 hits. However, the 3rd hit causes launch up. There's also an animation cancel you can do if you're close range. If you weave your melees into your primary fire, that will increase your DPS. Hold down your primary fire, and then right when you see the primary go off, melee. Before we move on, I just want to take a moment to say if you like this video, I have a bunch more content planned as we head into Season 1, so make sure to subscribe to get notified when that goes live. Now for Groot's ultimate, Strangling Prison. This ultimate is really, really strong. Like, so strong, it can kill through every strategist ultimate. Just not on its own. Now, you're going to want to pair this with a duelist ultimate like Namor or Moon Knight that can do big damage in an area, and if you do, well, you win the fight. Coordinate with your team, call out your ulting, and you win. You can also combo it with yourself. You can throw it at a wall, toss a bomb, and primary the target to get damage that way if you have no good allies to combo with. This is also pretty good. Lastly, we have Groot's team up. You don't really benefit from this at all other than getting to look at a Rocket or Jeff on your shoulder, but it does give them a 35% damage reduction, so good for them, I guess. Now on to Groot's preferred teammates. Groot likes allies that can capitalize on enemies he walls off or who don't need long lines of sight to get value. Additionally, do keep in mind your teammates can damage your walls. So characters that do well with Groot are Adam Warlock, Bruce Banner, Doctor Strange, Magneto, Penny Parker, Rocket Raccoon, and Squirrel Girl. Thor, Winter Soldier, and Wolverine are also especially good since they can reposition targets for Groot to wall. Characters such as Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hela, and Mantis can also take advantage of walls to kite around, despite the fact that they do like those long lines of sight. That said, Groot can struggle with the Punisher, Storm, Scarlet Witch, Namor, Moon Knight, Cloak and Dagger, and Loki since it can mess with their spawnables or interfere with their line of sight. As for maps, Groot wants tight ones with chokes that he can wall off. He struggles with open areas where controlling space is more difficult, and it's worth noting as well that convoy and convergence maps can be hard on attack since he needs to reposition walls constantly and the cart can instantly destroy them. So Groot excels on Royal Palace, Hell's Heaven, and even though it's convoy, Spider Islands has plenty of great chokes. I do think Groot at least partially works on every other map, but he does have a harder time on Hall of Dajalia due to the majority of it being open. Know when and where to pick Groot, get creative with your walls, and control that space. Good luck on your games, and thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in the next video.